equipment is such a unique thing. And you know what's interesting is all of the gear, equipment has come so far technology-wise, all the stuff you find in the store, it's incredible. From youth all the way up, the technology that they put in this gear now, it's so light, it's so fast, it's stiff, it performs extremely well. But when you go goalie to goalie in the NHL, I know the pads look the same. I know they look like they're wearing the stuff out of the store. Some guys might be stock or very close to what you'd find in the store. A lot of guys, though, they're all going to have their own unique tweaks and quirks about their equipment. Connor Hellebuck's a great example. He's wearing true pads that are quite obviously not what you're going to find in a store. He's got a real bend to his at the knee, above the knee. You can tell they're a little softer up top. He also has an old leather buckle at the bottom. That's the biggest thing, is the strapping and the stiffness, I think, is what you see is a big difference. I didn't like my pads super stiff. I like them to bend a little bit at the top, a little bit like Helly does. And for a while, when Bauer when they first started to switch over to the Velcro strapping system, which is incredible because it actually eliminates, they were really on me. I wanted to stick with the leather buckles. I was comfortable with it. I like strapping my pads that way. I didn't want to switch over to just the Velcro system. And they told me, they said, listen, it is a full pound that is adding to your pads by having these leather straps on your pads for absolutely no reason. So I finally got over my stubbornness and switched to the Velcro backing. And I mean, like I said, the weight of the pads now is so crazy how light they are and how good they work. But it really is, it's such, and I talk about the tweaks because every guy is so different. Their stance, the way they play, the way they want to feel when they're on their knees, when they're moving around, when they're on their posts. There's so many unique changes that you can make, how it sits how a pad turns when you go down, the way it goes on the post when you go down, all these different things. And you know, I think you see younger goalies that are coming up, they're using a lot closer to the stock equipment that's in the store because the stuff is so high quality and has all the technology, and that's what they were using at a young age coming up. They were getting all this technology and all this strapping that basically NHL goalies were wearing, or the top of the line stuff is. So I think you see more of that where those guys are using that, where you get old guys like me, even, you know, Helly's not old, but he's older, that this equipment that we wore when we were young growing up was nothing like what we have now. And even up when I was in Edmonton earlier on, all the way through when I got traded to Minnesota, I still had leather Bauer pads. It was while I was in Minnesota that they switched to the different material on the wrap with the compressed foam printed in a machine kind of thing. And so that's why I like my pads to bend a little bit, because that's how I was used to. That's how it felt. My knees touched together. The pads would bend a little bit. But usually guys like their pads stiff for they want to punch out the rebounds, and they function better. Obviously, if you go down and the pad is sinking, if the padding is squishing down, that's going to be friction on the ice. You're not going to move as fast. I know it seems like it's not that much, but you guys watch hockey, you know how fast everything is. Everything is a game of inches, and that little bit can make a huge difference, whether it's a rebound or the way guys push. So that's a ton of stuff. And then you go to the gloves. I mean, guys are all over the place with gloves on what they like. There's different breaks. Some gloves will close where it's meant to break just with the fingers and your thumb stays in place. Other gloves are more like a baseball glove that will break and close like this. And they could change the angle of the break. There's so many cool things that you can do. If you're a goalie gear nerd, just go to your local store and ask whoever's working there. There is hundreds of different options, which is part of the fun about being a goalie. Stick wise, I don't know. There's some guys will have bigger curves, I guess. I know when you go to a store to buy a stock stick, there's not a ton of options really, other than paddle length, which is extremely important. Obviously, where you want to hold your stick. But in the store, I don't think there's a ton of curves. I know Bauer has the Shadow, the black and purple stick. I think can't remember the specific name for it. It's got a big like player hook on it for guys that want to play the puck. I never had to concern myself with that, so I didn't worry about my curve too much. I had the same one. I think I've used a Roberto Luongo curve back in junior when I started getting my old sticks. I don't think I ever changed it. So interesting story. On paddle height, though, when my year in Edmonton that I decided to forget how to stop the puck, I got traded to Nashville and sent down. right in training camp, I was using a 27-inch paddle, had been my whole life. The NHL decided that I was a quarter inch too short, and I had to change my paddle inch down to a 26, which, if I was a petty person, I'd tell you is why I couldn't stop the puck, but that's absolutely not why. However, it wasn't a whole lot of fun to have to make that switch in training camp, go a full inch down on my blocker. But I ended up using that height for the rest of my career, and things went okay. So that's it for equipment. I could talk to you guys for hours about equipment, but we'll cut it off there.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.